Hey everybody, it's Knife522 here. Welcome to my new series on endgame tactics and stuff here. Okay, so basically what I'm going to show you today is just a position which I just had, and it's going to basically, guys, it's going to help you try and improve your endgame, and we're going to all learn a lot of stuff from this very complex game which I just had. Just a quick note before I get started. On Sunday the 3rd of November, I went to the Oxfordshire Chess Championships and I came out winning the under-15s trophy, and now I am county champion. Now, with a rating of only 1150, I am very happy about that. Okay, so let's get started here. So, basically, we're in this position. There's not a huge advantage. He's the one with the isolated pawn, but I also have double pawns. I have slightly more space also. So, he's got a knight in this close position, so it's probably about equal. So, what happens here is he plays rook to d7, offering up a rook trade here, and basically I accept this, and now we have reached a proper endgame position. So I look at my position. This is how you guys should do it. You have a look. This knight is very strong. It's guarding the f4 square, and what this means is his king can't go up to f4 to further support this pawn chain. Also, my bishop is in a very good square, no need to move him now, and also this kingside bishop pointing down at his pawn on g6. The king could possibly go to e4, but again, that would be blocking this bishop's diagonal. So I just decide to move my pawn up to g4 in this position. My thinking behind it, if we just flip the board over, you can see that if black doesn't take here, then he's going to end up with an isolated h-pawn. So we have an exchange here, and now my king can get to g4 as he has not done before because of this h5 pawn controlling it. Okay, so my opponent plays knight to b6. He needs to get his knight rerouted, but now I can just play my bishop into e7 and get it to this very strong f6 square. So he plays knight to a4. He's trying to reroute this round and attack some of these backward pawns here. But I can just play bishop f6 check, and after king to g8, I can come in with h5. Now these pawns are getting pretty deadly, but this main video is just going to be about how, when you have a very slight advantage like this, to turn it into a winning position. Okay, so basically, yeah, you can see he's pretty cramped. He plays knight to b2 here, attacking my bishop. So I have to play bishop to e4 first. So obviously I can't take with bishop. So he now plays knight to c4. There's nothing he can do for this threat, at which point I can play h takes g6, he plays f takes g6, and I can play bishop takes g6. And now I have a passed pawn on the g file, and his pawns are pretty blockaded because obviously he moves his pawn down, it would just get taken. So I now have the winning position, but it took me a while to pursue it, and I'm going to show you guys this so you don't make the same mistakes. So he plays knight to e3 check, and I can just play my king over to f4 now. And when he plays knight to d5 check, this is pretty much a fork. So I can just play my king across to g4. He takes the bishop. Obviously it's very strong because his king could hardly move here. It could only move to f8. And now I can play g takes on f6. So that was maybe a bit of a blunder on his behalf, because now I have this even further passed pawn. And look at this king. Wow, this bishop is trapping it in this corner. There's really nothing he can do. Okay, so coming back to my position now, he plays king to f8, just ready to, support this pawn if it ever needs to come down. So he is now, his king is basically now pinned. Not exactly pinned, not an absolute pin, but if this king moves away from this pawn, it is going to be able to promote, and that is game over. Okay, so he plays his king up to g7, and I just play king to g5 to defend the bishop. It doesn't really matter, because if he did take the bishop, I could just promote again. So he has to be very careful. He plays bishop to c8, and I can just bring my bishop back to h5, just so if it needs to come along this diagonal to attack these pawns sometime, it can do. Now he plays bishop to d7, and all I need to do now is march my king around to these pawns. So he's just faffing around with his bishop here. Just notice that this bishop is on the light squares, and these two pawns are on dark squares, which is a weakness for him, as my bishop is on the same kind of squares as the pawn. So if a pawn needs to be taken, it's going to be a lot easier to do so. Also, because his king is effectively pinned to this pawn, there's nothing really he can do about it. So I play king to d2, bishop b5. I'm basically just moving this king around, and he gets his king up to e7 to support this pawn, but he still can't move any further away from that because of f8 promotes the queen. Okay, so I now play king up to c5. I am threatening to get my king even further into the game and attack these pawns. He plays bishop to a4, moving his bishop away, still keeping it still keeping that one defended. I play king to b6 now and bishop to b5, and now I can slide my king into c7, and now it's pretty much it's pretty tight for him. If we just flip it over, there's really nothing much you can do. Okay, so now what happens is he brings his bishop back to a4 because there's nothing else he can do, and now the only way I can make progress is to double attack this pawn. So effectively he's going to lose his pawn. If you look at it, there's no way you can defend because my king here has opposition. So he has to take the pawn on f7, at which point I can capture, and because his bishop is his bad square bishop, he trades off the bishop, and after king e7 it's only a matter of time, because I have I'm going to get a pass pawn within 3 moves or less. So d5 is the move to do this, and after e takes, I get the pass pawn, and he promotes, and I promote, and then obviously king queen checkmate. Just steal the squares off from the king. So for example, king down, and once he comes here, you can carry on with your king, and as soon as he comes back, you can seal off this rank. That's basically how you do queen checkmates. King d2, king e2. The king has to go to h2, and after king to f1, the only square is the square in the corner because it's sealed off from the 3rd rank, and then queen to g1 is obviously checkmate. Okay, so thanks very much for watching that, guys. If we just go back a bit, just so you can see the bit again from reverse. So yeah, it was a pretty good game. I would just like that to illustrate to you the importance of endgames. I hope you guys learned a lot from it. But we're just basically going to go back to the position where it all started off, where things looked a lot equal. So in endgames, you just got to remember, it's always about patience, don't rush, and always work out if the trade is evaluated. Alright guys, so thanks very much for watching everyone. I've been Knife522. Please subscribe, I've got many more good videos coming soon. I wish you good luck with your chess, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye guys!